Everybody, it's Michael Martin. Thanks for being here. Really excited because I get to chat for an hour with one of my really, really good buddies for a long time, probably 20 years, Sean McLaughlin. You probably know him as Chicago Sean. He works with All Star Charts. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. The market is winding down for the day. It's been a wild week here in my house. My wife just celebrated a big round number birthday. I threw a surprise party for her this weekend. We had people coming in from out of town. They finally just left yesterday, so the week is winding down.
That's right. When the party's over, everyone has to go at the same time. As I like to say, get out of my house. I want my space back. Everybody, it's Michael Martin. Thanks for being here. You know, most of the time I'm doing these daily 5 to 10 minute monologues. Sometimes one day gets a little longer than the other, but I try to keep it short and sweet, make my point and be done. As I like to say, if I can't say it in 5 minutes, I can't really say it. Very rarely do I interview folks just because of the way of doing stuff. And this is kind of a bit of a niche. And I don't think you need to have a lot of discussion about the psychology or the emotional intelligence around trading. But every now and then I have a guest on, and that's going to be the case today because he's just written a great book. The problem with trading books anymore is I feel like they're an amalgamation of things that have already been said, and someone's kind of putting their take or their understanding. And I've written a book, right? It's easy to write. It's very, very hard to write well. I'm going to let the public figure out whether or not my book is well written or not. It's not for me to say. I wrote the book I wanted to write. But having said that, there's some new work. And I want to have the author on today. His name's Brian Shannon. But before I get there, I want to stick to this other point real quick. And that is a lot of the trading books today kind of take what's already out there and they kind of reword what's already there. So there's not a lot that's new. And so it makes reading trading books, for me anyway, not all that great. You know, I got Trader Vic's book. Victor's a good friend, partner of mine. I have Chester Keltner's book, How to Make Money in Commodities. This cheesy title notwithstanding, there's a great book on the evolution of Keltner channels and this and that. I have Edwards and McGee, right? So I have a lot of great books. And I think over time, it might be too easy to say, but my good friend Brian Shannon just wrote a book on anchored VWAP. And I think it's great. It's a great book. It's a book that you can have as a reference book to understand what anchored VWAP is, but it's also a playbook in that there are at least 9 strategies in there on how you can take VWAP and kind of use it in your own trading. Now, there's probably 100 ways you can use it. He discusses 9. We're going to talk about those today. Stay tuned. Here's Brian Shannon. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hope you enjoyed my long-winded introduction. We got my good friend here, Brian Shannon, who I was trying to think, I must know Brian for about 20 years. I know we met back in Malibu near Pierce Brosnan's house, way past Zuma, way back when. And then I know I saw you because I had admired your work. And I think I ran into you at an event where either you were speaking or we were both speaking, or we were speaking, but on different days. And I remember going up and saying hi to you. Folks, today we're celebrating Brian's new book, and I do mean celebrate because this thing, as I mentioned in the intro, is ass-kicking. I think, as I mentioned, if you're a newer person and you're looking to try to figure out where is your edge, anchored VWAP, it's not VWAP, is a great place to start because it really tells you who cares and at what prices. Brian, congratulations on this great book. It's your second book. I have the other one too somewhere. It's in my bookshelf.
So thank you.
Please go buy this book. It's the best $60 you can spend. And we're going to talk a little bit about it today. There's a lot in it. It's very pithy. But man, congratulations. I know you're getting a lot of good press and from people who know the difference too. It's not just these books on technical analysis where, man, people send me review copies and it's like, okay, I saw this in Edwards McGee. I saw this in Chester Keltner's original book. I saw this in Wells Wilder's original book. Or I saw it in Bella's book, the playbook, right? So this is all original thought, man. So that's kudos to you because it's really hard to do. It's very well written.
Thank you, Michael. That means a lot coming from you, especially. I mean, you know your stuff. And I knew when I sat down with you today that I don't know what we're going to talk about yet because we haven't discussed that, but I know it's going to be thought provoking because when you dig into it, you dig into it. And, I know that you've read it and that means a lot.
There was a lot of, scientific talk, and Ganja put together a 1-pager. We're just putting the finishing touches on it. I'm leaving it up to him. So if you'd like that, reach out via email. I'll put it in the description and we'll send it out to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a lot of really good, useful information on it regarding fasting and just general health practice and some of the stuff that, I have incorporated over the years and things that I've learned. And I'm really happy to be putting it out there. I think it'll be a great thing. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode where Mike and I go over you guys' topics, comments, and questions. Today, we have a great topic. Before we get into that, I wanted to say thank you guys so much for all the support. If you haven't already, make sure you guys like and subscribe. All comments help the algorithm. And with that, we can get into today's topic, which is extending a little bit upon last week's discussion.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I got a lot of great feedback.
Yeah. We got a lot of great comments. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad, you appreciated the insight on that. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about how everything kind of fits into the big picture. And we're going to talk a little bit about the 4 horsemen, but not the biblical 4 horsemen.
And not Kramer's 4 horsemen, because they're all out of business.
Exactly. Not that either. But I wanted to ask you, we've talked before about how cardio is really important, and I've rambled on about it a billion times. What is your experience?
You're rambling now, actually.
I am rambling now. What is your experience with like high intensity cardio training, whether it's cycling, running, or swimming?
Like my literal experience, or how do I feel about it?
Both.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. It's, as a grappler, they say, you grapple with your legs and you submit with your hands, your arms and stuff. So anything that I can do to keep my cardio up and my legs, highly activated, it's good for what I do. Grappling cardio, though, is different from doing hills and sprints, though. I mean, anyone who's wrestled knows that it's a mat cardio, being on the mats. It's a very different type of cardio. There's a lot of fits and starts.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to put your weight into other people, which is kind of the whole goal.
So, Mike, today's show, I thought we could actually tie to a current event in the news. We saw Dr. Ben Bernanke
I know where you're going.
receive the Nobel Prize this week.
Peter Principle.
And you got 2 camps in the media, right? You've got the cheerleaders, and I think you've got the people who really understand what happened, right? It was he got the Nobel Prize for cleaning up his own mess. Right? Do you remember what it was like back then? How scary it was, right? Where people were scared that their cash wasn't going to be there.
Yeah,
I remember we had one client went to Citibank and got $100,000 in pure cash bills because they were not convinced we were going to be there. It was wild.
the only way they could sleep at night is if they knew they had their own money in their own gun safe, basically.
Huh?
Yeah, that's a true story. I heard that from several people because they had parents who were born before the Depression and the banking crisis in from 29 to 33 and all that big debacle. So they went out and said they're not going to wait, right? Because sooner or later, these rumors have a life of their own. And even if there was no need for a run on the bank, for example, it still could happen if panicked folks would come and go get their money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's before, you start talking about reserve requirements.
Well, it's mental accounting. It's the way people think. You can handle your 401k and your brokerage account losing some money, but if your cash loses money, right, where that's your safety nest.
Yeah, it's how you pay your mortgage, your car payments, your kids' tuitions, for example, going to the supermarket. So it's one thing to be asset rich and then cash poor, right? That's a tough spot to be in.